All right, folks, we are back for our last break here on WLTH 1370 AM. It is 7:46 in the PM here on March 28th, 2025. I got about a little bit over 10 minutes before I got to start wrapping up because I got to get out here or Dr. Williams comes in with the 2x4 and starts regulating, and I can't have that. All right, folks. I'm glad that last caller called and talked about what the current administration is doing about healthcare, because next week, I'm glad she brought that up. Next week, we're going to talk about how to save Social Security and how Elon Musk and Donald Trump are BSing about Social Security being a scam, and how, basically another thing George Carlin told us, that they were coming for Social Security, that they're coming for our healthcare, they're coming for everything. The rich, the elites, and they fund both parties. They just send the Republicans as the bad cop and the Democrats as the good cop. That's basically what you're getting. And so next week, we're going to talk about how they sent the bad cop this time to essentially tell you guys that they're coming for your Social Security and health insurance and everything else, and how that is so unnecessary. It is totally unnecessary, but I'm not going to get into that now. I want to think happy thoughts, folks. Let's do good news. Good news.
There is a light for the blind man, a sound for deaf ears. It's riches for forgotten souls that have nothing left to give. There is freedom from bondage for those who can't break free. This is the gospel of Jesus, and it's good news. Yeah, let's remember we have good news. We won't hide it in the shadows. We will light up the truth. Tell everybody what he's done for you. Shout it from the rooftops. We got good news.
Yes, good news. It's rare that you hear good news about young people, particularly from this region. And this week we actually have some really extraordinary news about a young man from East Chicago, Indiana. My folks in EC, what's up? Yes, East Chicago's in the house. Yes, there is a young man, a specifically special young man in many ways, named Tamarrion Ellis. He went years with undiagnosed autism. At 7 years old, he was essentially afraid to go to school because he's being bullied, and was out of school for months. His mom actually took him to Riley's Christian Sarkeen Autism Treatment Center in Indianapolis, and that's where they diagnosed him with autism spectrum disorder. And his mom, Tamarrion Ellis, actually has 3 sons who are on the spectrum. But the good news is that in spite of all that, all this adversity in this young man's life, Tamarrion Ellis has scored a 1600 on the SAT. 1600. Yes, 1600. A young black boy who's been walking around this region for his whole life just scored 1600. That is a perfect score on the SAT. This is a young man that was written off because he's dealing with autism, who was bullied. And it just goes to show you, we have so many special young people walking around East Chicago, walking around Gary, Hammond, Maryville, Cherville. We have no idea what brilliant young people we have walking around here. And as soon as this young man got some help whatsoever, he was able to get it together and actually give us a perfect score on his SATs. Now, I'm not going to tell y'all what I got on my SATs because it was far from perfect. I could have used some autism that day. Just keep it 100. But this young man somehow got through all the adversity in his life and scored a perfect score. This young man is a genius, a literal genius. Made right here in Lake County, Indiana, which when Bobby Kennedy was alive said was the most corrupt county in America. Probably even more corrupt now. Keep it 100. We have so many young people who have so many valuable talents and skills walking around, and I always want to bring that up. I never want to get too lost in the weeds in politics, get too lost in the weeds in the comings and goings and the negativity that's coming out of Washington, D.C. Lord knows, especially now there's a lot of negativity coming out of Washington, D.C., and even a lot of negativity coming from Indianapolis, where a lot of these laws, they're trying to make us every highway be a toll road, so we have to pay to get on I-65 from here on out, like all that crap. But that's neither here nor there. It's important to understand what we have here in this community, right here in Lake County. We have geniuses, and we have an obligation to these geniuses. Whether it's in East Chicago, or in Gary, or in Maryville, or Cherville, or any of these communities, we have an obligation to make sure that we do right by these kids. Now, I sit right here every Wednesday and I hear Jackie Lee talking about just this very thing. We got to give these kids an opportunity, man. We got to do right by these kids. We don't know. We might have the next Albert Einstein here. Who's to say that Tamarrion Ellis isn't the next Albert Einstein? The next brilliant mind who will change the world. Who's to say that the next brilliant mind that changes this entire planet can't come from East Chicago? Can't come from Gary. Can't come from Maryville, from Cherville, from Hammond, from Whiting, from the south side of Chicago, for all my south side peeps on the other side of the border there. This is why you got to do right by the kids, man. We really do, and I'm so happy for this young man and his mother. To me, these stories, I always love to do these stories because I love to shine a light on the parents. Parent is the most important job there is. Mother, you know, I've talked about it before. I think mother's the most important job in the world. His mother, Tamarrion Ellis, 3 children on the spectrum. I know this has had to be very hard on her, and it's probably stretched her mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. But I really hope that she understands that she is appreciated. She gave the world a genius. She gave our community, Lake County right here, a brilliant, brilliant young man. And we owe it to her and all the mothers like her in our communities to make sure we do right by these kids. That means holding these politicians accountable. Where's the funding for these schools at? Where's the funding for these programs at? Oh, wait, somebody took the money from the summer program, and oh, we owe it to ourselves and to these kids to hold these politicians accountable, because we don't know what these kids are capable of if we give them the right after-school programs, the right summer programs, the right classes, the right schools with the right STEM training and all this other stuff. We don't know. The very brain that will change the world could be right here in any of these classrooms in this community. Could be walking down the street, walking right past this radio station right now. We don't know. And so we owe it to all these young people to remind ourselves that it takes a village. It really does. So congratulations to Mr. Tamarrion Ellis. I'm so proud of you, brother. I never met you before. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of your mother, especially Mom Talacia. God bless you. You're a queen, sister. And for all the queens out there who going through it with these kids, trying to raise these kids in these areas where they write off kids by the thousands and just say, well, you from East Chicago, you ain't gonna be nothing. You from Gary, you ain't gonna be nothing. I heard that my whole life. You from Gary. I used to have to lie on my job applications when I was young and put Maryville. I put my sister's address 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Because I don't want to tell people I'm from Gary, because people gonna write me off because I'm from Gary. Come on, man. We owe these young people better communities.